Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Makalesi. I'm here at the Night Roundtable. We're a group of young people working to build up spirituality and spread some great conversation discussions together. We plan on doing this on a bi-weekly, depending on how the public takes us. We'll go ahead and, work accordingly. So the first person I want to go ahead and introduce everyone to is Gary Edwards. He is a teacher on YouTube, and he also has his own Facebook account where you can actually see some of his thoughts. So Gary, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Gary Edwards. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I deal with anything under the sun, from occult to alchemy to anything you name it. I deal with the tantric system, the Maravillas. As time progresses, you get to know me more because I am really bad at introductions. So, yeah, that's it really.
That's good. I'm pretty sure we'll learn more about you as the discussion goes on. Next, we have Maine, who also teaches on YouTube. He also has his Facebook as well. He's part of the I'm Not Roundtable. And so why don't we go ahead, he's also a producer, so why don't we go ahead and let him introduce himself to us at the Roundtable.
Hi, this is May. That's how you pronounce it. I have a YouTube account. You've probably seen it. I do random stuff. I make music. You've probably seen some of my music on YouTube. I make, metaphysical videos, spiritual videos. So, yeah, I'm just here to partake in the discussion and give my 2 cents, So, yeah.
Great. And next we have is Eric. He also has YouTube, and he also has a Facebook account. And we'll go ahead and let him just explain who he is.
Alright, hey, what's up everybody? My name is Eric. I'm basically the type of person that comes in and just comes from a more matrix type of perspective, but I also understand the spiritual perspective of things. And sometimes I feel really inspired to talk about both of them and bring them together and pretty much give a basic rundown of how things are. I come at things from a basic level. So I teach things on YouTube too. So you guys can catch me there. You guys can catch me on Facebook, and yeah. So, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And then next we have Cyrus King. He also teaches. He has his own website. He has his Facebook and YouTube, and starting a little movement that we're all a part of. And why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself, Cyrus?
Well, basically, to me, in my opinion, if I had to describe myself, I would say I try to keep things as simple as I can. I try to come in and bring a simple way of looking at metaphysics, because I think metaphysics has turned into something where the people who are running the show or the people who experience purposely make it hard. So when the average person comes and looks at it, they don't want to get involved with it, or they think it's too hard because it's just they got to, they say you got to be initiated this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And it's you don't know, in a sense, if you're a regular person looking at it, you'd be like, I don't want to deal with it. And the problem comes in this time, being that the powers that be deal with the magic and the occult, I think that the only way you could even the score is if you learn more about it. And that's what I try to do. I try to make a more practical way of studying the occult. And at the same time, deal with matrix subjects. I have spark posts that we deal with politics and entertainment, because all of it's connected. And if you really want to survive and really want to uplift yourself, you have to do everything above and under the sun. So that's what I try to do. Okay. And basically, I'm happy to be here, and and I'm at the table. I'm sure that we're gonna discuss all that stuff.
Right. Okay. And of course, this is me, Makalesi. I also have a YouTube and a Facebook account, and I am just like everyone else. We teach about spirituality, trying to bring ideas to everyone, and therefore make people a little bit more aware. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about drugs and spirituality. I know a lot of people are kind of confused on, everyone wants to heighten their spiritual awareness. People want to tap into the different dimensions. A lot of people have come up with the theory, well, what about taking drugs? So why doesn't we start with, let's say, Eric, from your perspective, how do you feel about people? Why do they want to take drugs, and how do they get that confused with spirituality? Just from a basic, matrix perspective.
Okay, well, people, when it comes to drugs and people taking it for the spiritual purposes, I think a lot of people like to do it at the beginning because they don't know how to tap into, their own spirituality or know what it really means to be a spiritual being. So sometimes when people do drugs, it opens their mind up to different different like realities or like different perspectives. Like they might still see the same things, but they might interpret things a little bit differently. And like I think that's why a lot of people like to get into like doing drugs, and like a lot of people like to depend on it because like they see that taking the drug is the only way they can really like start to experience that. But you know, a lot of times it's not the way it should be. But you know, it's like, you know, it's everybody just doesn't really know, so they're kind of confused, so they just like stick to that one certain thing, you know.
How do you feel about that, Maine? Do you feel like that it's a good idea for people to go ahead and tap into this? Is it just from a basic perspective?
Yeah, you know, I personally wouldn't do it, but, you know, I can't necessarily say, you know, somebody who has no clue what's going on shouldn't, because I'm not going to lie, you know, somebody taking it could open up, you know, gateways, you know, into this world, but into, you know, the spirituality, you know, world. But at the same time, I think it's just the real problem is people are taking it, but they're not transforming enough ego-wise to understand that, you know, you have to be able to control it. You just can't be. You have to take it. You have to. What's the word? You have to balance yourself. You just can't just take it. I mean, once you take it and you enter the world, okay, that's cool, but now it's time to explore the world without the drug, you know. Now a lot of people just get addicted to it and get used to it and get trapped, you know, they get stuck using it. So.
And how do you feel, Gary? How do you feel about coming from Trinidad's perspective? Do you know a lot of people who tap into maybe some natural herbs and stuff to feel? Because, you know, coming from, like, I'm going to play devil's advocate, because I know when I hear people who tap into drugs, they say, you know, meditating for a very long time, it takes too long, they're impatient, you know, they actually have this one maybe out-of-body experience or see different types of fractals, and they say, wow, now I'm spiritual. But then what happens is they start to become dependent on this drug, but that drug helps them tap into this world that they're not familiar with. Gary, what would you just say to someone that thinks that way? Is it okay? I mean, they are becoming more spiritual in a sense because the Matrix is not allowing them to do it. Would you think that's a good idea for them?
Firstly, I do know of a few people who use tobacco and stuff. You know, they will smoke that in their pipes, and I'm not going to meditate on that. But I think, like, for this cycle in particular, like now, we are supposed to be going into now. Yes, the drugs is necessary because it had its place. It was for a material time. Now we're going to a new era. So as we begin to shift our bodies, we must shift the tools that we use as well. So I'm a person who will say, go internal this time. Don't depend on the drugs. If you use it effectively to help you get to a certain point, and then you progress.